Coming up next, heading back to the Muslim community, we are really excited about our next speaker because sometimes humor is a powerful way to change minds, especially when it's as sharp and poignant as that of the comic strip Haram Doodles. Yeah, we got some fans out here. Haram Doodles is a collection of haram, that means forbidden, drawings created by an ex-Muslim atheist in solidarity with others who have left Islam. Her sinful comics and memes are lovingly doodled with a humanist approach and in protest of Islam's strict restrictions on freedom, gender, sexuality, critical thinking, science, art, and life itself. She also organized the first ever Ex-Muslim Awareness Month in 2022, which is now an annual event. So we've got a lot of fans out here. Get loud and be proud for our cartoonist behind Haram Doodles.
Hi, hello, hello. Hello, fellow heretics, infidels, heathens, apostates, blasphemers, and all of you Freethought rebels. I am honored and humbled. I am honored and humbled to be at my first ever California Freethought Day. Thank you to the incredible organizers and to you all for being here. And I'm just gonna shake my arms because I feel a little shaky. Okay. So, before I begin, has anyone met an ex-Muslim or former Muslim in the US yet? Okay, a few of you. Well, now you've met me and know there's millions more of us in the US and around the world who stand in solidarity and free thought with you all too. What I'm about to share will be considered blasphemous, and if I was doing what I'm doing in my Muslim home, community, or country, I'd probably be silenced and punished with abuse, jail, or death by now. Sadly, that's the story of too many of us ex-Muslims, and that has to change. I'm Sammy, an ex-Muslim atheist, because I'm a woman. I walked away from Islam, over a decade ago. And in 2022, I grew an even bigger pair of ovaries and went back to my childhood love of drawing to start Haram Doodles. Haram because it's the Arabic word for anything that's forbidden or unlawful in Islam, like eating bacon, showing my arms and legs in public, leaving Islam, or drawing people and animals. Doodles because as a little girl, I absolutely loved creating something from my curious imagination. One day, I was told to stop drawing because after I die, God, or Allah, would ask me to bring his creations to life. How dare I waste my time and try to imitate him with these silly doodles? I was warned I'd be going against my Muslim parents and Allah if I didn't listen, and he was going to punish me for being disobedient. Now, imagine being a 10-year-old kid, picturing yourself as the main character of your very own horror movie. Maybe you've seen it too. Spoiler alert, it ends with you burning like a forgotten rotisserie chicken in the hellfire forever. I stopped drawing and tossed out all of my art materials back then. But after all those years, that childhood fear turned into adult fuel for my art and activism in creating Haram Doodles. I lovingly doodle visual content about Islam and the ex-Muslim experience using a humanist, feminist, and sometimes cheeky approach. And I knew deep down that the risks were really massive because not only is it haram to leave or change your religion as a Muslim, talking openly about it is also forbidden and blasphemous and among the worst sins in Islam. It's 2025 and there are still over 20 Muslim countries that have oppressive apostasy and blasphemy laws, with 10 of them happily giving you the death penalty if they find out publicly that you left Islam. Countless Muslim families and communities would rather disown, abuse, and punish their kids than to accept them as ex-Muslims. That's because Islam forbids Muslims from freely speaking their minds and expressing themselves, especially if it goes against Islam. Like fellow ex-Muslim, feminist, and human rights activist Ibtisam Betty Lashkar was arrested, fined, and imprisoned 30 months in Morocco just because she defended freedom and shared a photo of herself on social media wearing an Allah is lesbian t-shirt. I urge you all to visit and share freebetty.org to help amplify Betty's case. And you can also stop by my table and pick up a flyer. Along with banning free speech and expression, Islam also forbids Muslims from having their rights to freedom of and from religion. When I told a close family member I was an ex-Muslim atheist, they stopped talking to me for months. And when they later found out about Haram Doodles, they told me I was hateful, beyond praying for, and needed to come back to Islam before I die and meet Allah. I knew what I was doing was going to ruffle a lot of religious feathers. My Instagram and X accounts are banned in Pakistan and are constantly being reported. I get a steady stream of hateful DMs and direct messages and comments on social media from Muslims, religious folks, and the regressive left. They pity, bully, gaslight, proselytize, silence, and also threaten me with violence, death, and rape. While I and ex-Muslims like me experience this apostophobia from our families, friends, governments, and even strangers online, we're labeled Islamophobes. I'm told that my doodles are Islamophobic, and I'm spreading Islamophobia, a word that has been weaponized by Islamists and ignorantly used by the regressive left to silence us. Please stop using the word Islamophobia because it erases the difference between anti-Muslim hate or the bigotry towards Muslims as people and the criticism of Islam as an ideology and system, which is absolutely necessary if we want progress, freedom, and justice. Have we learned nothing from our DEI trainings? Pretending a religion is above criticism only helps the religious get a free pass to assert their religion and its harmful ideas, like forbidding freedom, abortion, or same-sex marriage. Sounds eerily familiar, right? That's why I have a rational fear of religion as an atheist, and I have a very rational fear of Islam as an ex-Muslim. I knew that the very courageous act of abandoning Islam was the one thing that tied me to the global ex-Muslim community. What started as a cathartic way for me to freely deconstruct Islam and talk about the ex-Muslim experience has now become a community of over 11,000 followers strong on Instagram. It's seriously the kind of content I would have wanted on my own journey out of Islam. Thank you. But that journey started when the very first seed of doubt was planted around the time I was in second grade. Every day after school, my mom would make me sit down with her and read the Holy Quran. We spoke Urdu and English at home, but I, like most non-Arab Muslim kids, had to learn how to properly read and recite the Quran in Arabic. Our colonizers' language was marketed as God's sacred language. So one of those afternoons, I decided to ask my mom why dinosaurs weren't in the Quran. My little brain kept wondering, how could dinosaurs not be in the one book where God gives us all of life's answers and the truths? My mom, visibly annoyed, said, whatever was written in the Quran was it, and to stop asking questions. But I'm sure you know by now I didn't stop, even when I heard the same non-answers and deflection from other Muslim family and community members. First, it was my pencils and paper. Then it was just my mind that became the safe and secret places for me to think and be who I was. A little South Asian Muslim girl, immigrant girl in the US. Our new life in this land of the free was centered around survival and stability, but it also meant doubling down on our ethnic culture and religion for my Muslim family and community. But for me, it meant living in multiple worlds at once. The American world outside my South Asian Muslim home gave me access to diverse people, music, ideas, TV shows, books, movies, food. Holy hell, the food. Like trying my first deliciously haram hot dog in school, or smuggling in a box of Lucky Charms cereal with haram marshmallows to my house from school, only to be yelled at again and again because pigs and byproducts of pigs are forbidden in Islam. Kid me was racking up haram points with Satan, and my curious taste buds were sending me straight to hell. Speaking of hell, the world outside my home also taught me what ignorance, harassment, and bullying looks like just for being me in America. I've been asked if I worshipped cows or camels, if I was a sand N-word, and get ready for this, if I spoke Muslim. Meanwhile, at my home and in my South Asian Muslim community, I was learning about my ethnic culture like language, food, music, and stories of India and Pakistan. But it was all secondary to the suffocating gender-biased rules that I and many of the girls and women in my family and community had to navigate. It always felt like we were on a leash holding a list of don'ts in case we strayed too far away from being good Muslim girls, who took Islam seriously, prepared for our futures as wives and mothers, and most importantly, didn't bring shame and dishonor to the family by doing haram things like dating or drinking, wearing haram clothes, being friends with men, non-Muslims, or LGBTQ. By the time I was a young adult going to college, I was beginning to question everything. I ended up taking a bunch of classes on religion, feminism, and sociology that were also helping me unravel my own identity through historical, systemic, and intersectional lenses. By the time I was done with college, I was also done being policed, controlled, and threatened with Islam. Obviously, it wasn't just my doubt, taste buds, and the suffocating purity culture that led me out of Islam. The data was there all along. I was starting to look at Islam from the outside in, and I didn't have to look that far for evidence. Every prophet, starting from Adam, Noah, and Abraham, every caliph who took control of the Arab Islamic colonization after the prophet, every imam, scholar, and Islamic leader I learned about was always a man. Why were women in Islamic doctrine always wives, sisters, daughters, mothers, orphans, slaves? Wait, what now? There's one chapter out of 144 in the Quran called the women, complete with instructions for men on how to treat, beat, marry, and divorce their wives and the girls and women they enslaved and captured? Where's the chapter called the men? Why do girls and women have to cover head to toe? Why are the Quran verses on the hijab way longer for women than for men? The math wasn't mathing, but my feminism was slowly growing. Every time I heard the Muslim call to prayer, 5 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, my brain would say, whoop, there's that man again. It was never a woman calling us to prayer. Even our voices needed to be turned down. I wondered, turned down for what? God? It seemed like he just hated us. But I know now that Islam, like other religions, mimics our patriarchal world in which it was created. It isn't just a religion, prophet, and a god. Islam is an entire system made by 7th century men for men. They perpetuated the same systemic oppressions that were found outside of Islam that we find in our world even today, like sexism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, slavery, violence, and supremacy, but repackaged and rebranded as Islam. None of this made any sense to me even as a Muslim, and I was too scared to ask anyone. Once I left Islam, I found my voice and I found the courage to be free and to be me. Regardless of my journey out of Islam, I still love and respect my Muslim family and friends as humans. I wouldn't even be here without them. And I also know most of them would never happily accept me or support my blasphemous thoughts or forbidden doodles. For them, I'm one of the misguided disbelievers that Allah warned them about in the Quran. I knew I had to do something to support ex-Muslims and atheists like me. I knew I had to take the risk and use my privilege and freedom of being in the US. I knew I had to take this opportunity of going back to my kid love of art and channel my feminist rage to put my doodles out there, where ex-Muslims like me could silently and secretly find them using VPNs and fake profiles just so their Muslim families and governments don't find out. I had no idea that through Haram Doodles, I was also building a safe space for ex-Muslims who could find belonging, deconstruct together, and feel seen and heard through a simple doodle. I talk to diverse ex-Muslims and ex-religious folks from around the world every single day through Haram Doodles. They share their stories and circumstances. They give me ideas and perspectives. They ask questions and seek guidance. And they overwhelm me with joy and tears with their kind words like, "Your content is like coffee in the morning. I can't start without it. You have no idea how much I want to share your doodles in my Instagram stories, but I can't. Your doodles have kept me going even when my family wanted me dead." I tell them, I'm not crying. I have something in my eyes. Haram Doodles was never meant to be just about me. I wanted to help do my part in creating a freer, safer, kinder world where freedom of speech and expression, freedom of religion and from religion are not just Western or American privileges. They need to be basic human rights for everyone, everywhere. Thank you. Looking back, I would have never thought I'd be here today with my all-time favorite human, my ex-Muslim atheist partner, who I love to hell and back, with over 500 doodles, meeting all of these beautiful people in person and online, and seeing the incredible impacts of centering humans. Every doodle I share is a love letter to the curious little girl I still am and was, and a reminder to ex-Muslims everywhere, you are not alone. You are allowed to love, to laugh, to create, to wonder, and to be who you are, even in a world where religions and gods are loved more than the people they are capable of harming. May your Haram hot dogs and Lucky Charms, questions and thoughts, existence and freedom always be worth the hellfire. Thank you.
Keep that energy going for Haram Doodles. I heard Helen back, so I'm back. Get it? Helen jokes. Don't forget that at 3:50 we'll be taking a group photo up here at the steps. So, if you're camera shy, don't be. So thank you for Haram Doodles for sharing your experience with us today. And then we're going to give some love to our sponsors. Yeah, round of applause. Women are everything. Oh my gosh. We want to give some love to the Center for Inquiry West, Ex-Muslims of North America, a Greater Sacramento chapter of Freedom from Religion Foundation, Healthcare for All California, the Military Association of Atheists and Freethinkers, the Reason Center, Stockton Area Atheists and Freethinkers, hey Stockton, shout out, Sunday Assembly Sacramento, and the Brights. Are you guys having a good time this afternoon? Yes! You know what? Today, tell somebody they look great and tell them you love them, all right? And if you haven't yet, please consider donating to this program and supporting the event. Whether you're here in person or watching live stream, your contributions make today and future years possible. Look for QR codes that are scattered literally everywhere. You can go check them out at the registration table. Don't forget that we have a silent auction going. We have an art project that's happening in real time. And don't forget to follow us. We're using Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, OnlyFans, Farmers. Oh, I'm kidding. We've got the last 7 years of Freethought Day available to stream as well. You can check this out on YouTube right afterwards. We're going to give everybody a short break to grab a snack, use the restroom, check out the exhibitors, visit the Freethought Gallery, or check out the interactive art exhibit, because when we return, if you're a music enthusiast, we have a Frank Zappa cover band, Bongo Furies, and our community panel. So we're going to play some music. Scatter!